Hey everybody, how are you today? Whew, it is hot in this car. I just turned on the air. So this video is very interesting. Some may not be comfortable with the subject, but we're going into some deeper extremes heading into September, so I made this video to cater to that transition. So the subject I really wanted to start off with first was I was curious about the date. Why let me adjust my camera. There we go. I don't know why I look like Casper. Maybe it's my light. So yesterday was the 15th, correct? So I looked at my August, you guys can see here, the 15th, and I have the number 8 next to it, because adding the date and the year, the date and the year basically gives you the total number, and that actually tells you the truth of, you know, those days, those gates, those astral gates, those portals, those days of feast days, celebrations, holidays. Everything goes to the calendar according to the number. And so when I was thinking about the 8-8 Lionsgate that everybody was all gung-ho about, and people did all these meditations, and I'm not criticizing anybody because people didn't know, but 8-8 and 3, right? That makes a 19. Then you add 1 and 9, that makes a 10. You cancel out the 0 because zeros don't really exist in our metaphysics. 0 is a common root of itself, so you cancel it out. So it's a 1. 1 is acting on an infinite, which you could say, yeah, there's probably a gate. But I think the true Lion's Gate was yesterday, because you had a full moon, then you had something coming in, ushering in, giving us this powerful manifestation energy where we can actually now control the narrative from here forward. How many of you, according to your full moon experience, how many of you wanted you know, these fools that are hiding in politics to be brought to light? How many of you said, I'm tired of these music artists, you know, with their 666 symbols and devil worship, and, you know, and all the sexual harassment that they have to be quiet about because they have careers? No one does that. So when we manifest, we always do it for ourselves, which is not cool sometimes. That's why I have a fear of manifesting what I want for myself, but at the same time, I won't get what I want. Then I have to struggle and suffer, and that cycle will teach me I have to manifest according to the detail and be very specific about the detail of what I really desire, what I really want. And will it make my life happy? And can I go forward in my life and career because I manifested truly, authentically to where I want things to go in my life? So today, even though yesterday was the full moon, and you know, you make your wishes yesterday, today I wanted to I'll make a whole list of things that I want for myself and the world, in our country. Because when people get stuck in the mindset of being pissed at Trump, there's a whole frequency that they're interacting with, and they're feeding the wrong thing. So I call that shadow work. Or even like if everyone knew that 8-8, August 8th, that was the same alignment as when Hitler, you know, did his thing. And we already know about that, his huge sacrificial offering that he did. So, okay, person in front of me, you cannot drive. Go around your butt. He's dancing. Let me get over. I hate LA traffic. This guy is like twerking in his car. I shouldn't say this, but, and he's handicapped. I see the sticker. Anyways, he's slapping his brake. Okay, good. I'm in the next lane and I'm safe. Everyone who did their meditation or catered their positive energy on August 8th, that's a form of shadow work too. People didn't know. If you add the year, you have to add the year to know what alignment, what number you're acting on. And 880, everyone just did their own shadow work without knowing it, unwillingly. I'm under a bridge. I thought iPhones were supposed to be like high tech and here goes my light body. Adjust my camera one more time. I'm not a shapeshifter, I promise. No, you guys would have saw my eyes do something funny. These are real human eyes. But I was recording this video before and I was subliminally mentioning somebody. And then my whole phone like did something funny. But lightly, what I like to say in general senses is we have to be very careful who we're listening to, because there's a lot of people who walk in, they say they walk in divine light. And they're telling you they walk in divine light. But they do not mention the word God. They don't say it. They'll say every other thing around, but they don't say God. And I started learning that people who don't mention God are people that you really need to be careful of following, because they are imposing as a beacon of light. But they use the truth and they use your attention to feed the opposition. So that person's doing shadow work in front of you and using your energy, your attention, maybe not your life force, but every time that they say something, your adrenaline's involved with it, that's giving your life force away to that entity's source of what gives them power. So I really wanted to make this a very important video, because you know, people don't really know who's walking in the shadows and verbalizing themselves as the light. You know, case in fact, I was watching someone's live stream yesterday. I forget her name, but she's so woke. I'll put her video in the description box below, because everything she said was so on point. But she mentioned someone else's name in her video, and I was like, no. And she kept mentioning it. Man, I'm like, I said, your truth and what you're saying in your video is far more authentic than that person's channel altogether, because I really know the work of that person's channel. I watch them because I was told to be a watcher over the people who get the information from this person, and to pray over the people who are getting truth, but then the opposition's giving her the information to give to the truth community. She's doing her shadow work right in front of you, not the person in the description box. Oops, I said the gender of the person I'm subliminally supposed to talk about. So in my interpretation, I don't know how everyone else does shadow work. This is just what my interpretation is. I don't really want to know everybody's business. I don't want to know how they do their shadow work. I don't even want to welcome comments of people saying this is what I do for it. I don't want to know. Everyone's shadow work is very different. Mine was when I found myself in unfortunate situations that I put myself in consciously. And I'm honest, you know, I had a couple hiccups last year, and I had a couple hiccups this year, and they just happened. You know, we're human. Things happen. Sometimes our energy's low and low frequency things involve us on accident or unconsequently. But it's funny because every time that I involve myself in something that I was like, ooh, I probably shouldn't be around that person, or you know, ooh, I'm not doing that, but I'll still like converse with you. I've learned that every time I sat with someone or something or an environment of darkness, not evil, but darkness, I end up having to bring light to that situation. It just followed me. And that's the whole point of shadow work itself, is you're able to go in and out, in and out, in and out. Because you have grace on your life and you have divine intervention in your heart. You have discernment. So you can tell what's right and wrong, but your conscious choices are in your free will, your free choice. And you're allowed to go in and out. That's the whole point of shadow work. That's the whole point of free will. But you have to, in your journeys, you have to really learn how it's operating and understand how it's operating. And that alone is going to bring you to light. That's going to always bring you to light. That's why I'm able to have these messages on my channel, because I've done so much shadow work, and a lot of times I wasn't aware I was doing it until this came to my attention this year when people kept mentioning shadow work. I'm like, is that like when you were doing bad stuff and then you kind of like downloaded information for your higher truth while you were on the dark side, and then you came back to light and then you used the information? Yes. But some people don't walk in light completely, and they want to use your attention to feed their shadow. Like the selfies, that's shadow work. Oh, damn selfies. Damn it, Instagram. But these how these digital platforms really use you and us and me. Because the shadow work keeps their longevity. It gives them revenue, money. It gives them, I'm trying to think what else I'm trying to say here, but I think you guys get the point. Facebook, it's all shadow work. It's all reptilian. It's all mind control. CNN, that's all mind control. The more you guys watch, MSNBC is a little bit less mind control, but they give you an option to think. But I always think about CNN, and I think of The View, the television show The View. Anything that tries to orchestrate you hating the president, that's all a form of mind control. That's reptilian, and it's shadow work, because you don't know who's behind the resources allowing you to follow the script. That's shadow work for the other side. They know that the ratings on TV will bring revenue, and they're using everybody for that. That's mind control. They know that every story is going to cater to a certain group of people who are under a possession, and that group of people will constantly go back to that source and feed. It's like an addiction. Addiction is shadow work also. Some people unfortunately get caught up, but they don't know where they're catering their energy to. But people who had grace on their life, sorry, ooh, we're wobbly. I didn't notice that. Sorry, you guys. I'll just hold my phone. I'm sorry, were you guys like rattling? Yeah, so this is a heavy topic. So to conclude, what I'm saying is, I know for me, in 2015, I found myself doing a lot of dark arts, and I wasn't aware. Like, I thought, we get superpowers where we can move, things with our hands, and we could, aerokinesis, push the wind around with our energy field, which is true, we can. We can put out like candles with our hand, our intentions, but once I was in that, I was really stuck, and I found myself really in a dark place in 2015, to the point where I manifested unidentified, come on camera, here we go. I manifested an unidentified aerial event over my head, and I was like, is that what I think it is? And it totally changed my whole conscious reality. That's why, like, I think when people haven't seen UFOs in person or seen those like a weird thing in the sky, it really threw me out of the box. It threw me out of this matrix. It really helped me understand that I was under possession and a mind control. I was listening to, like, you know, Beyonce, and I was dancing a certain way because that music influenced me to dance that way. And that's what they really want. The shadow work is of the dance. You know, like the Bible talks about David dancing. When David danced, it's like they use those biblical, they use those biblical things for their own purposes. Like, that's why every song you hear, they say, she danced, she be dancing all night. You guys ever hear that? Dance all night. Oh no, where'd I go? Or even Justin Timberlake, he has that song, dance, dance, dance. Every time they command you to dance and you dance, that's a form of shadow work too. We've been doing this for a long time. Sorry, everything's rattly. That's why I feel so sorry for the innocent children who they don't have discernment to know this. And even us adults. Oh, bouncy, stop. I'm sorry, you guys. This is a very rattly camera today. A rattly video. So I just want you guys to be aware and think about these things that I brought up. And, you know, that's my interpretation of shadow work. That's just what I know. And shadow work that I might do today, nowadays, is I just reflect on, you know, why things occurred. Why do we have to keep seeing, you know, mass shootings on TV? Those are just things, small examples. But I always try to think from my heart, how could I repair the situation? How could I forgive myself of the situation? Or, you know, maybe if you don't like the president, it's okay you don't like the president. This is a very bouncy parking structure. He has a very bold, arrogant attitude. But he still is a service of the country, and people always thank the military for their service. So we also have to pay respects to everybody who does a service to this country, regardless. When you understand how to act in a forgiving energy, you start to forgive the things that are going on. Then you start to understand that, for example, I understand that, this is very, very far out there, that I call him Mr. T. But the president, basically, there is a constituents around him and aiding and guiding him, but he's completely unaware of it. Trust me, I'm very intuitive and very empathic, and I guess you could say psychic, but I can see and I know that there's something interesting about his actions when he wears the red tie and actions when he wears the blue tie. So usually if it's the red tie, it's him speaking to his own constituents, the people who are part of the group. You know, it's masonry. It is what it is. That it's their thing. They speak backwards. They talk in opposition. But us don't know that. And everybody who doesn't know that, they're falling for it. They're thinking that the truth is being let out in the forefront, but embarrassment, humiliation is part of being part of that world. To embarrass yourself grants you fame after. Bad press is good press. So why wouldn't anyone not believe that? Excuse me. Ooh, download hiccups. Why would anyone not believe that he's perfect for the position? Because you haven't really physically seen the earth change from his actions. You haven't seen nothing but everyone's inner anger, their reflection on the world, their prejudices, people who didn't deserve to have particular friendships. You're seeing a lot of stuff come out and surface out of people. And that's shadow work. And that's like pretty cool that, you know, Mr. T can actually do his form of shadow work for the whole country. So where does this shadow work go? It converts to light. Because when you magnify so much negative energy, you surface it out, you extract it out of the body, it thus becomes, you know, it goes away. It's invisible after. It goes to the light. Anything taken out of the body goes to light. You know, the sun it's there for a reason. The UV radiation, gamma rays are there for a reason. So every time something comes out of body and into the atmosphere, it's completely eliminated. So that's just my interpretation. I'll leave you guys to that for one day. I'll probably come at you guys with another thing later. But notice that yesterday was the actual Lionsgate. It wasn't on 8/8. And that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go pump out my other class and I'm gonna go back to bed. I'm getting bags. I wish you guys saw me Wednesday. I taught a kids summer camp. They tore my behind up. These kids tore me. They were so cute though. It really inspired me to go back to teaching kids dance again. There was so much joy that I miss from, you know, and unfortunately I can't have my own kids, and, you know, I've been dealing with an illness for 10 years, so, you know, I can't naturally have children. So, oh, I don't want to get sad. I've always desired to have my own children, my own kids, and it's just something that it's okay. Like, I can foster later, but financially, things are hard. Like, we barely can get through each week, you know? So, one thing I do wish on this full moon is that we get to a place where we can, like, be fruitful and be happy and multiply our gifts and do things to where we're not struggling to be in that blessing. Like, I just want for everybody a complete blessed life, and myself. And while I'm in emotions now, I really want to send prayers of healing for my friend John. John has been doing such amazing work in Africa, South Africa. And he went under a horrible, terminal illness. And there's a medical facility in Germany, and he has to get there in order to live and to get rid of these diseases and bacteria in his body. I'll put his link in the description box below. His wife did a video last night, and she kind of like went over the overall what's going on. If you guys can just take your left hand, which is your feminine, and you just set it over your heart and just say, you know, healing for John, blessings for John. I would really appreciate that. Like, John is just such a sweet person. He does a lot of active, what do you call it? Community outreach for the youth, the troubled youth that are in, is it Uganda? I forgot the name. But he does a lot of work in a local city in Africa. He's such a great guy. Anyway, that's my affirmation. Have a good day, everybody.